Dear sisters and brothers, we are here to talk about the disasters, natural disasters, and humanitarian crisis. Especially, we will underline, emphasize Turkey and Syria. These two countries affected the recent earthquake, and over 100,000 people died just because of this disaster. And their relatives, their friends, their loved ones are suffering now, and we are here to find solution and contribute to them, help them with spiritual, emotional care. That's our aim. We have some experts among us, and I want to share our program. Then we will talk all together. Welcome, Dr. Ran, Sister Tuba, Sister Sekine, Sister Emine, and Brother Betullah. Now, I open our website page. We can talk about the structures. First of all, I would like to invite our most experienced person here, the distinguished guest, Dr. Ran Cockcroft. Sister Sekine, would you like to introduce him?
Yeah, welcome, Ron, Chaplain Ron, Reverend Ron. What would you prefer to be called?
Chaplain.
Chaplain Ron.
Either Ron or Chaplain Ron. That's my preference.
Chaplain Ron has a diploma in pastoral counseling and education from CPSP, the College of Pastoral Supervision and Psychotherapy. He has many years of experience as a director and at the chaplaincy and spiritual care program at Austin State Hospital in Texas. And he served in different locations in Texas and also retired from the United States Army and National Guard as a chaplain after more than 25 years serving there. And Chaplain Ron's Masters of Divinity was from the Golden Gate Baptist Seminary in California. He also has a background in linguistics and a PhD, an MS and PhD in psychology from Texas A&M. He is on the president of the board, on the board of the nonprofit Focus Girls for Education, a licensed professional counselor supervisor, and he has been one of the clinical pastoral educators in the Respect chaplaincy program for the last few years, from the beginning, I believe.
Thank you, Sister Sekine. Now, I would like to mention about Sister Tuba, and if Emine is ready, would you like to read, introduce Sister Tuba? Emine, I am opening now. Wait a minute. There you go. Yes. Emine?
Do I read it?
Yes, please.
Tuba Alpat, Master of Divinity, board certified chaplain, physician by training in Istanbul, Turkey, masters at Hartford Seminary with concentration on Muslim-Christian relations, graduate certificate in Islamic chaplaincy, 4 units of CPA at MD Anderson, BSLMC, and Texas Children's Hospital, staff chaplain at UT MD Anderson, 2019-2022, board certified on 10/2020 through APC, currently serving Texas Children's Hospital as a workforce chaplain supporting healthcare professionals.
Thank you, Sister Emine. Welcome, Sister Tuba. And now, time to introduce Sister Sekine. I would like to ask Chaplain Tuba to do that.
Chaplain Sekine Al-Habshi, currently chaplain at Respect Graduate School, Pennsylvania, Master's in Islamic Studies with certification for interreligious chaplaincy from the Graduate Theological Union, Berkeley, California. Clinical pastoral education at Stanford Hospital, California, 6 units of CPE. Board member of Ziyare Spiritual Care, providing chaplaincy training internationally. Advanced Diploma in Islamic Studies by Aries University in Malaysia, undergraduate degree in Civil Environmental Engineering from Northwestern University, Illinois. Classical Islamic training in Malaysia, Yemen, and Indonesia. Field experience in disaster relief and refugee displaced communities in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Lebanon, with earthquake, tsunamis, and genocide. Mentor for the Association of Muslim Chaplains North America CPE learners. Advisor for the I Love Quran, Tahfiz, and Hatija Learning Center Islamic School in Malaysia. Welcome, Chaplain Sakina.
Thank you, Chaplain Tuba.
Now, maybe Dr. Ran would like to introduce his student, his trainee. Let me open it.
Who is this?
Maybe it's his family. I don't know.
Chaplain Onur Kaya. Onur means honor, so we honor Kaya at this point. I graduated journalism from the Department of Marmara University's Faculty of Communication, worked for 25 years in newspaper, television, magazines, completed his MDiv equivalent and graduate certificate in Islamic chaplaincy at Hartford Seminary in the United States. Chaplain Kaya has 4 units of CPE training from, from ACP, CPSP, and RGS. He served as a Muslim Distinctive Religious Group organizer, a leader in the U.S. Air Force, but from 2019 to 2023. So he's got a lot of experience with flyboys. He has been working as the founding director of Spiritual Care and Counseling Department at Respect Graduate School for over 3 years. He attended an effective speaking and leadership courses at Toastmasters International for 4 years. And he's learned how to not say and that kind of thing. He served as an imam at mosques in Houston and Austin. Imam Kaya visited prisoners for 3 years in a prison. He took a course on preparing Islamic legal documents for marriage, birth, and death situations from Harvard professor Dr. Talal Eid. He is U.S. citizen and the CPE programs director at RGS. Welcome, Onur, glad to have you. And I'm glad to have had this relationship with you.
It's my pleasure and honor as honor. Thank you. Let me introduce Brother Beytullah and Sister Emine. Imam Beytullah is outreach director of the Respect Graduate School.
Can we see it?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Can we see what you're reading, please?
I am just saying.
Improvising.
Yes, improvising. Yeah, let's say inspiring by his face, looking and saying. Beytullah is a friend of Pop and some NBA stars, some Hollywood stars, and some leaders of the countries. So he is a unique and different, significant person, and I respect him because he respects graduate school. So maybe he can contribute after our conversation from the school's perspective. And Sister Emine is a chaplain at the hospital. She graduated Hartford Seminary, like Chaplain Tuba. We are all classmates, 3 of us here from the same school. So, inshallah, our aim to serve natural disaster victims and humanitarian crisis victims with this program. Our participants will join for 40 hours class time, and also 10 hours supervision time and 50 hours serving time for the victims of disasters. After this brief introduction, I would like to ask Sekine to mention about the program. I will open the page as well.
Thank you, Chaplain Onur. So just sharing that the course is open to everyone. You don't necessarily have to be a chaplain or a counselor or somebody in this field already, although that would be beneficial, of course. We aim to primarily provide some supplementary awareness, knowledge, practical skills, and tools as well that you'll be able to benefit from, with a focus on the population of those who are going through disaster, humanitarian crisis, groups that have been displaced for various reasons, refugees. So the course will run like in a seminar series over the 40 hours, over 4 weeks or so. And the pool of instructors have a combination of some practical experience, some research experience or education in different fields of emotional and spiritual care. They bring their perspectives, their approaches, and in how we may provide care and support and accompany those who are involved in large-scale communities, large-scale crisis across communities. And also a component of the course is to be able, of course, to navigate our own moral dilemma and moral distress as care providers, and be able to provide care in a more sustainable manner, because this work, of course, as we know, is challenging in different ways, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually.
So wonderful. When I heard about the earthquake in Turkey, I was shocked because it is so strong, shaking, and one of my close friend, who is my daughter's teacher, his father, mother, and brother, stayed under the collapsed building, and he tried to reach them, but he couldn't make from far distance. And he told that I will pay all my property whenever I have to the savers of my family. But in 3-4 days, gradually, his parents died one by one. They used to hear their voice from the collapsed buildings. So when I saw his situation, I immediately think to find out some way to help, to provide spiritual, emotional care to members of the families who died there. Then this course shaped, fortunately, and we have chance to focus on them with this way. So Dr. Ran, thank you for your participations for this course, and you will teach with your daughter Rachel and your assistant Sister Latifa. What would you like to say about this course?
One of the most important things we need to remember is that the people that we're working with are going through tremendous pain. Our purpose is more than just discovery of the principles. It's to utilize principles to be with them, to comfort them, to encourage them, and be able to give some principles for practical, that some things that they can practically do in order to feel like they have some control within a very uncontrollable situation. And so this, we're hoping to assist our trainees, everyone who's involved, to gain some ideas, some better understanding about how to reach out to the people who are hurting. The portions that I would work on, I intend to do some presentation about the reality of suicide awareness and the people who are experiencing extreme pain. Because my experience with the people I've worked with through the years is that sometimes people feel like they hurt so much and the hurt will never stop until they stop living. But that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Also, I intend to just have some time for people to ask questions, clarification things about some other situations without necessarily a lecture. So there will be time for that. Thank you for letting me express this.
Thank you, Dr. Ran. We have instructors here. Also, some of the relative of the victims, Beytullah, Imam Beytullah, lost some his family members in Adıyaman. And what would you like to say?
In Maraş, really in city of Maraş.
So how do you feel when you heard about the sad news, and how to cope with this issue?
Really, the first days it was very difficult. The people cannot do a lot. There is no machinery over there, so it was just the human power. So because it was very big and the help came little late, unfortunately, this is one of the facts. So the people was waiting days and days for big machines, so to take out the big blocks. So, and they was saying they were hearing the people, but they cannot do a lot, unfortunately. So from here, I try to send some people, for example, one of my friend in Texas, his family totally unfortunately lost. They wait for 3 days. So thanks God, I find one guy who got put in my path just 3, maybe 4 months ago from Adıyaman. So I called that guy. So he sent somebody and they saved one life in that building. So it was really like apocalyptic. So we watch in the movies these kind of the things. So it was very, very difficult for my family, because my family was living in Adıyaman, Gaziantep, and Kahramanmaraş, and a lot of friends in Hatay as well. So I was in the groups who was trying to help to victims. For example, one of my friend here from New Jersey, they cannot find his grandmother. She go out of the building. So Alhamdulillah, through that announcements in the WhatsApp groups, they find her, and the family met her. So it was like irreal, the situation, really. The first week, we can say. So after third day, they find the body of my niece with 3 kids. Then when they find my other sister husband, so my brother-in-law, she paralyzed really after see the bodies of the people and other bodies as well. So they take him to hospital, and he couldn't survive. He said like heart attack. So, and we lost him as well. So after 10 days, 15 days, we lost my other niece because aftershocks of the earthquake was continuing. She left from Marash with her husband to Kayseri, and she back to Marash because they had shock in Kayseri as well, aftershocks. So, and we lost her as well because she was very weak. She was having a very weak body from in her development, really. So we lost her as well. So indirectly related to earthquake. So may God give all the families a big heart. Really, it's not easy to take care of this. So I want to really, I'm here to share my appreciation, to respect, and to you, honor, to put all these professionals together and to open this course, this training for CPE people, for chaplaincy people, so they can serve in Turkish, in Arabic, and in English to directly to people who they were affected from the earthquake. Just 2 days ago, I talked with one of my friend. We studied together in high school. He was in Hatay, so he lost his son of 13 years. He was very affected. He was very spiritual, but after 1 month, still he is like in second day. So with his wife, I try to talk to all the family, 2 kids. He have 2 daughters, and I know his wife as well. So about 1 hour we talk. Just I was hearing them as well, like Dr. Ran taught us in CPE unit.
How to
So
listen.
it was very nice, and they really, after 1 hour, they thanks to me to spend with them that 1 hour. Even I don't have this training. So inshallah, I want to be even I cannot do whole program. I will be whatever I can. So I want to continue to serve these people. They need. So I want to really thanks to all trainers and the trainees as well, and to respect as well, and all the supporters of this program as well. So anybody want to support this project, it's welcome, really. So thank you, honor, and thank you, respect, and thank you all the professionals.
You're welcome. Thank you for your explanation. And when you say Turkish, Arabic, and English, don't forget your mother tongue, Kurdish as well.
Thank you very much for that reminder. Yes, especially in Adıyaman, there is a lot people who are talking in Kurdish. So thank you for that reminder.
After this course or during that course, Coincidentally, our trainees will serve the victims of the disaster in the area, Turkey, Syria, even Lebanon. There are Turkish, Arabic, Kurdish, and English speakers over there. And this program, yes, in English, but the trainees are bilingual people, so they can speak Turkish and other languages. Coincidentally, they will serve the victims. CP, clinical pastoral education, formal or method, we use action, reflection, then action again. This course, we will use that method during the class time. What they learn, even I will participate as student as well, not just the instructor. What we learn, we will apply on the field. Field means not the land or area over there. There are people all around the world affected by that disaster. I will mention about one sister from England later. I would like to ask Dr. Tuba. When I say doctor, she's a medical doctor, not just the chaplain. So what will you teach and what do you think about the course?
Tuba, can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry. So thank you for Respect Graduate School for giving us the opportunity to be able to reach out to those who are affected directly by our indirect efforts. So since the beginning, we wanted to do something for those people in that areas. Even my not any immediate family was affected, but many friends living in the States had lost many friends. Like one of the family from here lost over 40 people in one family. So we felt that impact on ourselves. And using my knowledge and background in medical field and chaplaincy, I wanted to first of all respond to the need that those people are in shock. Even after it's been more than 30 days, still many of them might be in a state of shock. So whoever meets them, I want them to know that their presence is so valuable for those people because they need healing. They are wounded. Their spirit, their mind, physical also, whole body is wounded, and we would like to be a part of their healing. And when we are talking about healing, it starts with our presence. If we do not show up, nothing will happen. So when I say show up, it will be maybe in person or through, phone calls, whatever the medium is. The reaching out part is important, so they know that they are not alone in their journey. So I will focus on pastoral presence, and we'll delve into what does that mean, because those people need the presence of someone so that they feel they are heard, they are appreciated in their suffering, in patience, and gratitude, because we hear so many stories that people keep saying, thank God we have this. We didn't thank this before and we took things granted, but thank God we have now this. So whatever the stories they are going to share with us, we will accept those and help them that they are feeling understood just by our presence. And by this way, they are going to be enlivened, inspired, and start feeling, start to again think about who they are, what they want, what life is, what is the purpose and meaning in their future. And that will help them to start thinking about their present moment and then build upon that. And the second part is about listening, which is a basic skill that we use in chaplaincy. But in real life, sometimes we can dismiss easily, even in our family, life, we can dismiss easily our children when they are talking to us. We are not really present for them when they are trying to show the drawings that they did at school, that we are dealing with our phones, messages, and the other things around us. So in their world, who needs to be heard? It might be immediate disaster areas, or people who lost people and don't live even in that area. It might be people around us in different countries. So we want them to be heard, so which has significant effect in our brain health, because throughout the lifespan, the listening helps someone to have that increasing connection in the gray matter and white matter in the brain. And it can help also by being heard to create better relationships, because they are disconnected from world. They feel in their own mind so isolated that they may think nobody is understanding them. So they need to start building relationships and listening. By listening, we start that process for them. And by also, again, being heard, those people start having joy, peace, and ease in life when they are in conflicts in a very basic situation in their life. Like, should I start working? Should I start earning my life again? Because they lost their career, they lost their jobs, they lost their homes, everything. And they need to, again, come back to life with so much. So that being heard part also gives them the life again. And also that presence throughout that listening, reflective, active listening, that people will acquire useful communication tools and new perspectives to meet life's challenges. So those are the goals when we are going to talk about these two main topics: pastoral presence and listening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chaplain Tuba. We are excited to learn all these different topics to serve better to the victims of the disaster. So, Sister Emine, what would you like to say about the program, the course? You are serving the patients at the hospital. How do you relate your service and this program?
Yeah, I think it is very important time for us because, like after we learn everything, many things about CPA experience, our residency experience, and right now in my, chaplaincy journey at the hospital in New York, I see just today, like I want to share with you one of the patients we talk maybe 1 hour, he said after having this illness, I tried to, question myself, what is the meaning life after all, after this sickness, and what is the meaning of my presence with my family? I even don't know. Like, I believe that the similar questions, the people experiencing this disaster, they would ask themselves, what is the meaning of life after this, after this disaster? What is the meaning of tomorrow for me? Or what is the meaning of future? And what is the purpose of my life after all? Really, those questions are, I believe in their mind. For example, just a couple of days later after the earthquake, I called one of my friends. Her whole family was in the, the city of Hatay. And she said, after heard this, earthquake, I felt shock and I couldn't believe it. I was kind of like in mood of freeze. I was like feeling a freeze. And then, her husband went to the Hatay and see, and she said maybe 100 member of my family is gone. That's why, like, I asked myself, then what is the life for me after all? And that's why this is totally a trauma experience. And after this trauma, there are gonna be huge, effect on their mental health, their emotional well-being, their spiritual questions, it is gonna happening for them. And that's why our presence is very important, even if with the distance, even if with the phone call, just letting them know that, listening to them from the heart, from saying that, giving the message of, I hear you, I am here for you. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna solve your problem or, your problems will be gone, but I am here for you to share your pain. I am here for you to walk through with your pain, with this grief, because grief never goes away. Grief never goes away, but it is important for us with our all experience, walk with them through this pain, through this suffering. I think it is important. And after we talk, long after phone conversation with my friend, she said, I was really need, this conversation. And thank you so much for listening to me like this. That's why it is very important, because I heard one of my supervisor told me, he said, Emine, suffering cannot destroy us if we hold suffering together. But suffering can destroy us, our emotion, if we try to hold all, heavy pain on our shoulder. That's why, we are here to hold their pain together. That's why I think it is very important for us to be there with them in their time of suffering, in their time of pain. And also, Dr. Ran's point is very, very important, suicidal, thoughts maybe people have. And I heard from the news, some people, especially in teenage years, the people, young people, it is very critical age after you lost your all, close friends, your family, and for them, what is the meaning of life, what is the motivation in their life? That's why especially giving them support and giving the message that this is so painful, this is very hard, but you're not alone. That's why our presence, it is very important. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chaplain Emine. So all the topics we mentioned very vital and important for the affected people from disaster. Thank you, all of you. And I will ask Sister Sekine. She has some experience regarding that. So what would you like to read? Also, I would like to say, what would you like to teach people? Let me open your part, then you can mention about
so the two sessions that I'll be facilitating, one will be on the common spiritual distress in times of crisis, and we'll talk a little bit from my on-the-ground experience in Indonesia after earthquake and tsunami, a few different time periods. And we'll also explore, for example, in a time of disaster, there's different phases. And in the beginning, when it's an acute sort of situation, acute crisis, there's a lot of attention paid to the community. There's a lot of support. There's sort of this honeymoon phase of everybody being positive and trying to support each other. But these kinds of situations are usually long-term. The problem doesn't resolve itself in just 1 month. People have been displaced and they're going to be living in tents and temporary homes, sometimes for years after an earthquake or a tsunami. And so the different emotional and spiritual struggles that people go through and their spiritual resilience shifts over time. My master's degree thesis was also in spiritual resilience in times of prolonged crisis. So I'll be sharing a little bit of that in this course. And towards the end of the program, the other session that I will be facilitating, inshallah, with some of the other chaplains, maybe Chaplain Tuba and some others, is a more before that, yes, that we'll be doing a little bit more of practical tele chaplaincy or tele support kind of tools. How would you communicate? How would you pray with somebody over the phone? Sometimes people who are used to maybe even doing counseling or chaplaincy work, they feel it might be easier to do certain things in person. And how does that translate when you're providing the care over the phone? So it's still possible to be able to build a prayer, a dua together, rather than just saying, I'll pray for you and then end it like that. Like, how do you invite and be curious about the person, what is really on their hearts? How might we facilitate calming breathing exercises if somebody is expressing anxiety or being very nervous on the phone? And how some of those tools could be beneficial to them to practice even after we get off the phone with them, and that they're still able to practice the calming breathing in a future time. And the final session that I'll facilitate, inshallah, is a role play session. Depending on the number of students and participants in the program, we might do this once or twice during the live session, where people get to practice based on a few case examples and based on the 30 odd classroom hours of theory that they have already, and practice with each other in like a role play setting. And the instructors and peers will also be providing support and feedback, and we can just feel what it's like to be able to put some of those knowledge and skills into practice in a safe environment where we can get feedback and improve, inshallah. I know some of the other instructors are not here today, but just to briefly mention, you can see in the syllabus, some of them will be talking about specifically providing care for children, creative and somatic techniques, art and play. Some will be sharing their own live experiences. We have like Sheikh Yusuf, he was involved in the Puerto Rican aid with hurricane. And we have Chaplain Tahara, who will be talking about psychological first aid. We also have Chaplain Khurram on crisis text line, on how sometimes, depending on the kind of support that we're providing, it could be sometimes over text or WhatsApp or a helpline support online, how to communicate with text and words, and be present in that modality, facilitating group care, group work on Zoom. Also, Chaplain Nora will be talking about spiritual lessons from the Quran and the Sunnah, the prophetic tradition, on our communities experiencing crisis in our scripture and our history books. So those are some of the other sessions that will be happening. Yeah, Chaplain Jeffrey Bennett, resistance, reacting, and resilience, managing your own internal stress, and then also facilitating mindfulness and sharing his lived experience as well. Just touching on some of the other topics. So the instructors were not able to be here today.
Thank you.
One of the things, Honor, may I make a comment? One of the things that we hope to communicate is the realization that when something like this happens, there's no solution as far as, oh, we're going to make it go away. We're going to make it heal. It's kind of like losing your right arm. You're never going to grow another right arm. You have to learn to be a different person as a result of that. And all of this has caused all of us to have to become different persons. And that's what we have to keep in mind. How can we become a different person and heal through it, rather than trying to make it go away? And you brought that up, Sakina, and I really appreciate your saying that the grief, the trauma doesn't go away. Thank you.
Maybe, Onur, you can announce this course. It's cost normally $500, but will be able to take a scholarship. Can you talk about that point as well, please?
Thank you. Was going to tell about them. Thank you. So, $500 cost, but it is taken care of by the school. So that the aim to provide scholarship, we want to reach as much as we can, reach people all around the world with our trainees, volunteers, and they need to promise to serve at least 50 hours, but between 50 to 300 hours is the target. 300 hours clinical working is CP necessity. So if some of our students from here continue to the clinical pastoral education under our school, so they can use this service as their clinical hours, community-based clinical hours. So this is another opportunity for them. So how can they apply? Easy to apply. Here, Respect Graduate School website, respectgs.us. When they click this, you will see the main page. Let me go back, the main page. Then this picture they will see. Then they click Learn More. When you click Learn More, you will see the course date, which is March 18 to April 12. It will take 1 month, but in those 40 hours, we will learn a lot. So to apply, you can click here. Then you will see this amount, $500, but full scholarship opportunity provided by the school. Apply now. You can see this title, and under it, minimum intermediate level of English proficiency. This is enough. Also, commitment to complete 50 hours, as I told. Students with previous education or experience in chaplaincy or related areas will be given priority because they have already experience. They will add more on their background, then they will be ready to serve. So I would like to ask you, Brother Betullah, you would like to say school's perspective or approach at the end of our program. What would you like to say?
Just thanks, like I said in the beginning, for our professionals, for trainees who they spend their time and they will serve to community in these two countries, in Turkey and Syria. May God bless you. Just appreciation and really from heart, deeply. Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome. Let me mention about my class as well, then conclude the conversation. So I was in Istanbul when the big earthquake happened in Turkey. We say Gölcük depremi, which means Gölcük earthquake. Let me share it to give better perspective to the audience. So I was working for the journal newspaper, one of the most circulated newspaper in Turkey. 1 million copies every day they publish. So I have visited all the cities: Istanbul, Adapazarı, İzmit, Bursa, Yalova. Then collected the stories of memories of the victims, and I published during 1 week or 10 days in the newspaper, then collect all stories and add more. I made a book which is Shaking Lives, the title of the book, Shaking Lives. And also I collected some fresh stories from the last earthquake experience. I will combine those stories and I'll mention about skills of listening to stories, documenting stories, and sharing them. Real stories from both earthquakes and the power of a healing narrative. These are my topics briefly. So I will ask anyone if you desire to make comments, contribution in our conclusion part. Please feel free to do that. Otherwise, we are wrapping up now. Dr. Ran, you are the most experienced person among us. You can conclude this program.
Well, once again, I want to echo Betula's comments and thanks to all of you who are involved in this and for the school that for getting this together and supporting this. As our hearts, we feel the pain of the grief, but we're secondary to those who have lost persons and or maybe even tertiary. And this is very important. Thank you again, all of you. And thanks be to God.
Yeah. So we can conclude with two different types of dua from Muslim perspective. I can ask Sister Sekine or Beytullah, and also I would ask Dr. Ran to pray with his belief. So who is volunteer? Sister Sekine or Beytullah? Hoca, would you like to pray?
So I can recite Surah Al-Asr. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم.
Ya Rabbi, Ya İlahel Alemin. Go ahead, brother, whatever you feel.
Thank you. Our God, by whatever name people call you, as we call upon the name of God, we're calling mainly that you will create in us your character, that the different names that we celebrate represent from you. Thank you that we have the opportunity to develop more of your compassion, to demonstrate more of your love, to provide more of your support and your help. So we commit this program and all involved and ask that you'll work through us to your people, to be present, to give love, to give comfort, and to give peace and healing. Thank you for this opportunity. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Wonderful introduction and explanation regarding the course. people will find their answers, and this facilitate our work to spread the word. See you next time with another project. May Allah protect you, and Allah Hafiz, Allah Emanet. Goodbye.